and some other types of things. I don't see an aspect to that, and I'm wondering if you can include it in the extension that we've talked about at length in our committee meetings before, is that reply to people on Facebook when they ask a question and they want to know where to stay, is this good? You know, so many things come through Facebook, and that response time is crucial for any business. I would think that it would also be crucial for the county, and I'm just wondering if that's something that could be included moving forward, is a response from the county, whether that be through Trampoline or through your office. You know, even now on Facebook, it gives you the average response time, and I just think we're missing a big piece of that. The rest of it looks great, but I noticed that still was not included.
Yeah, in future meetings also, we'd like to talk about, like Joanne had said, that the Trampoline contract runs until, I think, the end of May, right before June. And I know that you had brought that up in the past, and now more so than ever, and as we keep going into this digital era, it's going to become more and more relevant, right? So perhaps we look at that contract and restructure it so that it suits that particular niche much more than it does now. So we'll keep an eye on that and let you know how that's developing. And as she alluded to, we have 2 replacement staff on board that were reclassified that now give us a lot more different capabilities that we didn't have before. So there's starting to be some redundancy and some overlap in that contract. So it'd make all sense in the world to say, all right, let's stop doing this stuff twice and do that stuff much better. So I think in the next coming sessions we'll have that hammered out.
Thank you, Peter. Can we, I'll take questions at the end. I just want to we got a lot here, just want to, appreciate everybody staying.
Just a quick comment. This is great. Thank you very much for presenting it. Pulls it all on track.
All right, Joe, you finished with your part now?
I think so.
Okay, so we got Tanya Brand for motor coach.
I'm set.
One quick thing.
Yes.
That precedes her, because I have a video that I have to play first.
Oh, that's right.
So all the involvement with the state agencies and kind of advocating for Warren County on different boards and whatnot has actually started to pay off for us. Being a participant in all these discussions starts connecting you to people that need stuff. And I Love New York was doing a winter campaign, a winter TV campaign. They just launched, I think, Joanne, last Friday or Thursday. And a week before that, they were hot on deadline. They called us up and said, because they had met Joanne in a couple different meetings, can we get some footage of your ski areas? And we need it tomorrow. So if you don't have it, too bad. But we do have that stuff. We have it on file. We're well organized down there, and we were able to get a drive in their hands at 9:30 at night that featured Gore and West Mountain footage, and they are now running in the TV spot. So we have a 30-second spot if you guys want to watch it. This is the newly released I Love New York spot.
Peter, you took away my thunder. I was going to give you credit for that.
I've heard that on TV quite a bit myself in the last couple of days, but it's not only in our market, it is all around New York State. It is in Toronto, Canada, Montreal, downstate, Westchester, Connecticut, PA, so they're really getting the word out there.
So that's something good. He took my thunder. I was going to say all that, but they did a great job getting the stuff out overnight, basically, and they did a great job. Spent some hours on it. All right, go ahead, Tanya. You're next.
Mine's not short and sweet either. So,
well,
I know not everyone got the packet of materials, but there was a copy of a travel trade marketing strategy as well. For those who did get the packet, were there any questions for me about any of the strategies that I outlined? And Rachel, you're certainly welcome once you get to read it to come down if you have any questions and ask me directly. But
did you look at her book? You put one in her book? Oh, okay. Rachel, did you get? She said it's not in your box.
Okay, we'll deal with it later. It's fine, I have one right here. I do have a question. I'm just wondering, I know that we discussed it the previous meeting about the travel and training fees, the 11,000 for the motor coach tours. I'm just wondering, could you familiarize me a little bit, and I did quickly look through this. I don't see how it, I don't see it in here, but what I'm wondering is how do you determine if attending all of those events are resulting in a, you know, actual, like a cost benefit analysis
I
here?
did it for ABA, just because, you know, it was
Yeah.
this is probably my most important show, and I wanted people to know the return on our investment that we do get from this that we get from this show. So I calculated, you know, what I spend in travel, the sponsorship, everything in one big package, and it came to, I believe, a little under 10,000. And then I calculated what the ABA Foundation says one bus overnight brings in you know, the economic impact. So that was about 12,666 or something like that. So, given that, if I get one booking from the show, it's completely paid off.
And I understand that rationale. I guess what I'm asking for is, are you working with the hotels in Warren County to say, hey, did that bus stay with you?
Absolutely. ABA is a partnership between the Destination Marketing Organization, which is me, and the suppliers that go. They don't necessarily need to attend the show, but when I come back with all of those leads, all of the suppliers that want group travel leads, they get those leads. And then I follow up within a certain amount of time to see, did you actually get a booking?
Okay, so I don't need to take up your time here, but I would like to get together and see that data.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yep. So with that, if nobody has any questions, I'm just gonna do the recap on the show. I just wanted to preface the whole, ABA recap, that ABA is the oldest, largest, and the most respected voice in the industry, so it's really important that I attend the show. It's a 5-day conference. This year it was in Cleveland, and you can see the logo up there was Cleveland Rocks, and it was an excellent show. And you can see that image there is of the massive marketplace floor. You can't see in the very back, towards the back of the conference hall is where we do our appointments, but the upfront part is really where the trade show and our booth is centered. So it was very high energy from the get-go. When we got into the airport, we had people from Cleveland greeting us. When we left, we had people, you know, saying thank you. 3,500 people attended. We even made the news. I think I took a snapshot of my TV in the hotel because it was important to Cleveland, and they were great hosts. So, and like I just said to Rachel, it is a partnership between the DMO and the businesses that go. The way they set it up is for the DMO to do the appointments first. So the first day, it's all about the Destination Marketing Organizations kind of prefacing or setting up the stage for the attractions and the suppliers that then come and do their appointments the next 2 days. So 10 partners did go to the show from the Lake George area and the Adirondack region, and we got a sponsorship through the Adirondack region. That's how we got the booth on the sales floor. I was going to have a few partners come today, but because of the weather, they couldn't make it. But they periodically worked the booth, and they did their own appointments. So why do we sponsor under the Adirondack region? It's more about branding. The tour operators know Lake George, but they also definitely want to know the region itself. So we usually, when we do our sponsorships, it's under the Adirondack name. I conducted 52 appointments with a max of 55, so that was really good for DMOs. 47 of those appointments were mutual, meaning the buyer, which is the tour operator, and the supplier, which is me, requested each other. So that really qualifies your appointments. It means that they want to see you because either they're currently doing business with you, they have a question about hotels, or they have a current itinerary to you, so that's all good stuff. Only 5 of the 52 appointments that I did were mismatches, and you do have some mismatches. And you kind of want to have, you got to put your feelers out there for new operators, and they, you know, we may be too far. A few of them canceled, but as far as the numbers, they were good. All appointments are 7 minutes long, and they're customized, meaning I could meet an operator that doesn't really need anything but hotel rates. Or I could meet an operator that completely doesn't know us at all, and that 7 minutes has to be customized to what they're really looking for. So, did you want to run the video of the appointment floor? We have just a quick 10-minute video, or 10-second video of, so there's 10 big long aisles like this. This is just one, and you can see the Adirondack logo is on the time clock there. that's what got our sponsorship on the selling floor. So, once my appointments are done, I sit down with all the suppliers and I talk about my leads. So that gives them the opportunity to, if there was an operator that was just looking for a hotel rate, they can go out on the floor and they can talk to that operator. So there was some closed business right on the floor that during Marketplace because of that. I know the Queensbury Hotel got a booking just because they could meet the rates that the operator was looking for. I was just going to quickly discuss some hot leads. Like I said, I was able to close some business. When I went into ABA, Uniglobe Ohio Valley Travel, which is actually out of West Virginia, we were currently working an itinerary. We didn't have an appointment, but I could sit down with them and go right through the itinerary, do their timing, suggested maybe they have a guide, work out all the little details. So that was great. So we closed some business on that. And like I said, the Queensbury got some business right on the selling floor. Other hot leads, I didn't have an appointment with Ohio Travel Treasures, but at one point they were bringing 11 trips to us in 2016. We just had a discussion on why that may not be happening for 2017. She was looking for a receptive operator that could package, so that was good to have a conversation with her. Conway Tours has 3 tours to us in 2017, one to include Balloon Fest, the other 2 are retail tours to include Lake Placid. So a lot of the operators are looking for regional information as well. Christian Tours out of North Carolina is going to have 2 overnights to include Balloon Fest and Elvis Festival. Yankee Trails, they came to us about 7 times, but I suggested with them just day trip opportunities to keep checking the Festival Space website for concerts and things like that. They're going to try the Wine and Food Fest again. McCoy Bus out of Ontario. We didn't have an appointment, but I picked up an appointment with her because she was looking to do some business with us, and they have 2 tours that she's working on for 2017. And then I was talking to Gary of Lake George RV Park. Adventure Caravans doesn't have potential probably this year, but maybe for 2019, and they bring caravans of RV people up from the Texas area. So as far as my follow-up, each appointment will receive a customized packet from me depending on what we talked about at the appointment, and then those leads will be shared with all the Warren County businesses, and it's up to them to follow up and see if they can meet the needs of the operator.
Anybody have any
questions?
All right, we'll move along.
Thank you, Tony.
Number 6 is under myself. You all know we've been talking about an advisory board to help the tourism department out, and we've been working the last couple of weeks on it. I did contact a few people. I got mostly good response and yeses, so I did mention this at the board meeting Friday. So, and I think Tom Gay is one of them from the Sagamore, gracious to be on this committee. Eric Gilbert from Great Escape is going to be on the committee. Sam Luciano couldn't be here today. He called me early. His kids were off from school for snow, so he had to stay home. And Gary Longcrest from the RV park. And starting next month, those 4 seats right there in the front, we'll put a little reserve sign. They'll be sitting right there up with us. And anybody have any questions, or any of you gentlemen that are here would like to say something? We'll listen to you, make it quick. Not that it's just that we're...
Just thank you for appointing an advisory committee. We've asked for this for a while. We're very much, I'm myself very much interested in helping any way I can. Would like to also meet with you sometime to follow up on things.
Tom, do you have anything to say real quick?
No.
Eric?
I just concur with what Gary said. I really appreciate you guys going to the advisory committee and allowing us to have, a seat and really a voice for our community.
We kept it to 4. I had about 7 when we went through names, and but we got the 4. Just we don't want to make. You see the size of this committee now, plus 4 more. So, but it should work out, and you guys will get a packet also, like our committee is going to get. Well, that we'll probably mail out to you, so you don't have to come down here and pick it up in the mailbox like they do. And of course, the I Love New York thing. I wanted to thank the committee for the tourism guys to get that out for that thing. The other thing that we're working on right now, this has been a sore thumb in a lot of business people's hearts for many years, and we're working. I think Joanne's working with the attorney, and IT about starting to give out the emails, that we get in for requests. I hope about another month, we'll be able to get right into that, and as they come in, we don't know how we're gonna do it, probably email them right out to you is probably the easiest way. IT's working on something for us in the office that we can, so anybody that wants, any emails that come in requesting information about Warren County, you'll be getting that, so I think about another month or so, we should have it.
When we launch the new
Yeah.
website.
Okay. So that's something that's, I know a lot of the business people have been looking, we have about 110 now, 120?
Ooh.
That's old.
Yeah, that's old, we cleaned it up.
Yeah, okay, we cleaned up a lot of that, but we had about 120,000 at one time. So now with the new ones coming in, the people will start getting them, okay? So if you got any questions on that, you can check with Joanne or Peter. Up next is Great Escape, Eric? Right?
Great. Again, my name is Eric Gilbert, and I have Rebecca Close.
Rebecca Walsh.
What, sorry?
I got married.
Just married. But it is absolutely our pleasure to be able to present to the committee today and to the audience. You know, it was during occupancy tax time that we got together and we came up with an occupancy tax request that I think it was best suited as a cooperative marketing campaign between the Great Escape and Warren County. So I have a quick little preamble that I'll provide prior to the presentation. We'll jump directly into the presentation, and then we'll open up the floor for some questions. So, you know, the Lake George area is probably one of the most eclectic and beautiful areas within, you know, New York State, within the Northeast, and arguably the country. Nowhere else do you have the pristine Queen of American Lakes, the Adirondacks, you know, great attractions such as, you know, Lake George steamboats, show venues, you know, like the Civic Center, as well as thrilling roller coasters, which is like the Great Escape provides. Aside from Lake George, the Great Escape is the largest attraction by attendance in Warren County. And we would not be as successful as we are without really all the amenities that the Lake George region and Lake George area provides. So for that, we are very fortunate. But this is where the cooperative marketing concept comes from. Six Flags and regional tourism groups throughout the country have taken advantage of cooperative marketing in some of the other destination locations, such as San Antonio and Gurnee, Illinois, out in Chicago, the Chicago area. So we've been able to leverage, you know, the destination attractions, such as Six Flags, that has proven to drive room nights. And I'll show you a statistic here in just a few minutes. And the additional amenities in the area that would help attract that new visitor to the Lake George area, as well as hopefully continue to elongate the guest for a different additional room nights. So we'll go on to the first slide. And I do apologize for the eye chart a little bit. But you know, the first graph I'd like to point out there on the far right is where are our guests coming from? Where do they come from the Great Escapes? Well, the heat map shows that the red is of course the higher density of population. And as you break out into the blues and the whites, that's where, you know, we kind of fall a little short. However, we do have attendance coming from those areas. And this is just U.S. population, and not necessarily Canada, but we still draw a great deal of guests from the marketplaces. So as you can see, up and down the 87 corridor is really where, you know, most of the folks that come to our area visit the park, as well as visit, you know, Lake George. You've seen emails similar to this from other presentations. And one of the things that I would like to point out, though, is that our demographic is about 50% local and 50% external, outer market, greater than 100 miles, 50 miles. So as you can see, we are definitely populated down into the lower Hudson Valley, Utica, Syracuse, those areas. They have some strong weight that are coming and visiting us and actually are staying in our local hotels. The 104,000 you see down in the bottom left of that particular graphic, the total room nights, about 104,000 is what is attributed to the Great Escape from these outer regions. Where do we get that data? One thing we do is we discuss and have survey data collected from a wide variety of our guests that come to visit us. We of course use a sample size and do sample data sets. That they tell us where they're staying, for how long they're staying, and whether or not we were the primary attraction or primary reason why they're visiting. So of course, it is the total regional concept that really works well for all of us, and why we would like to partner.
You know, for us, given all of that data and who we are as Six Flags and where we are in this beautiful region, we've come up with the opportunity to have a co-op advertising campaign where we can take the specialty and the expertise of our Six Flags media, our buying, our creative agencies, they're executing these kind of campaigns all over the country. We will learn from our resort. You know, we've placed to different tourism advertising campaigns and just in partnership with the lodge alone and seen great results. And the best part about this is they're all very metric based, they're performance based, and they're always moving. So our agency is on track and understands the importance of a summer season and how we have 6 to 8 weeks in the middle of the summer to really make our money, move people. And these are our talented agencies would be on top of a plan that we would execute and own and create. You know, we would take on all of the buying and the planning fees. We take on all the production fees, and we would spend the money where it makes sense, using the Great Escape as a base, but in a 50-50 commercial, show the beautiful Lake George region using the thrilling Six Flags brand as well.
So, just real quick to digress, so when we were speaking about the lodge earlier, I don't want to confuse the two messages as we're coming, you know, of course we operate both entities, but the numbers that I gave, the 104,000, was actually regional numbers. It was not necessarily directly the lodge, and that was only for the summertime period. So to not get muddy with our lodge numbers as whole.
So moving forward, you know, we would like to request $150,000 to launch a custom awareness advertising campaign in June and July. So we've had our agency go to work and put some pen to paper and take a look at markets including Hudson Valley, Syracuse, and Utica that make the most sense. We know that there's fish there, we know that they want to come here, and we know we can move them through efforts like Zone Cable as well as digital, which, you know, Peter and Joanne talked about. So this is an awareness advertising campaign, which I think is really important to talk through here because it's not click to visit the Great Escape, click here to buy your tickets. This is an awareness campaign that says Lake George is a beautiful region that has all of these amazing things and thrilling roller coasters as well. So you're talking to mom, you're talking to dad, you're talking to the kids, and this plan will do that. You know, this isn't an absolute eye chart, but really what we wanted to show here is that we've put our media plan and our team in place. And this is a flow chart that they mocked up for us that spends $150,000 for a 6 to 8 week run in the summer. This shows a hiatus week for the July 4th, but of course we would work very closely with Peter, Joanne, and this team here to present a media plan that makes sense, that we all agree would move families and move visitors to this region. But this is a GRP level and a mix that would absolutely show great results, and all of that does come with metrics and tracking and performance-based statistics that would constantly be moving. So these digital tactics, this plan is about 75% broadcast TV and, you know, zoned cable, and then about 25% digital spend with some paid Facebook as well, which we've had great results with. But the best thing about that is we can, you know, based on the weather, based on regency, or based on the regional trends, it's constantly a moving target, and our team is all over, you know, making sure we're using that money in the best way possible.
The reason why the agency really felt it was important to use, of course, digital cable was because really just the visuals that the Lake George area provides. It's hard to kind of explain those things, you know, via the radio. So to really have a go-to-market with a top funnel plan, it was important, they felt, to go in this route. The other thing I would like to point out is that it is 100% flow through. So the $150,000 that you guys would present to us would flow directly through to advertising. It doesn't, there's no overhead that you guys would be paying for. So.
And the other thing that this does not take into account too is our buying power when you purchase zoned cable would come with a lot of added value as well. So our media agencies are down in the New York City area. They're working with Hudson Valley Cable all the time. So the spend that we would have would also come with some added value, some promotional opportunities where we could do, you know, enter to wins with different opportunities. You know, you'd have a lot of opportunity to get more for the $150,000 because our agency has those partnerships and gives us that added value back. And this last slide here, if it clicks through, is really what our, vision was. We both saw this, we loved it, and we said, why can't we make this come to life in Lake George?
I have an idea to end the spring break bickering. Accompany me to Colonial Williamsburg. Here's another. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Would you like to learn how to fire a cannon? For the ride? Maybe they'd like to dig into an archaeological site. Or maybe dig into international cuisine. New World.
This spring break, get the best spring break in history. Get twice as much fun for one low price at colonialwilliamsburg.com.
So the campaign would be a 50-50 split, so we would pick up all the production. I wish we could say we could do something that amazing, but with our production, we would show the beautiful lake, we would show all of the amazing things that we have to offer.
And here's the rest of Colonial Williamsburg.
I'm gonna pause that. But it would use the Great Escape and the thrills that we provide, but also tie in with the rest of the county and the rest of our offerings, and really just drive visitors to this summer.
So and as you can see with that particular commercial, why we loved it so much is because it did have, you know, some of the historical elements that Lake George area has and provides, as well as, you know, you can see the visual. If we convert the commercial to show a lot more of the visual of the lake and some of the overhead shots that we know we have on our asset list, it'll really help improve the ability for us to attract that new visitor and that millennial visitor, tying the world attraction with, you know, the historical elements and just the beauty of it.
And I think the last thing that we'd like to add too is, you know, is we've come up with this idea and we hope that it's one that works, and we know that it will work really well, but we don't see why this concept couldn't work with the Gore Mountains of the world in the winter. And next year, is there another attraction that wants to step up to the plate, and you know, we hope it works, and we hope that it sets the stage for more people to be able to do campaigns just like this, because we're only strong, you know, we're much stronger together. So this is the way that I think we could start to look at this area and partner with each other and drive business.
So I'm going to open up the floor to questions.
Did Williamsburg do the 50-50 too? I mean, is that part of the relationship you have with that destination?
This was just a sample.
This was a sample. This is actually not one of our properties, but this is a sample that I think that showed that the aspect of our region probably more successful than some of our other commercials that we produced at Six Flags. Our go-to-market request for our agency that is going to be building this commercial is to really look at the 50-50 concept and really highlight all the things that you can within a 30-second commercial that the region provides. With using the 50-50
So Eric, would this be the first, or have you had this relationship with other destinations?
We have two markets. So our San Antonio market, which is an incredible tourism-driven market, has worked very closely with their CVB and county to do something similar. Theirs was more of a 30-70 split, so there's about 70% of the park and 30% of the CVB. So for us, the agency understands and recognizes that this 50-50 and seeing this kind of funding, we would have creative approval through, you know, Peter and Joanne and the tourism group, so we could show, you know, that split partnership. So Chicago and San Antonio are about 70-30 right now. So those spots didn't show exactly what, you know, they were a Six Flags commercial with, you know, and visit the entire region with almost like a tag at the end, where this will be a 50-50 spot.
All right, I like the idea. But do you have the San Antonio, can I go on YouTube and see their example?
Yes, theirs would be, but theirs would not be what we would have produced. Theirs would be 70% Six Flags and 30% tourism
So
tag
most
at
of
the
that
end.
commercial, 70% was
Yes.
the Six Flags?
So we could show it to you, but that is not our intention.
We are a little different than some of the other, you know, Six Flags parks, so I think we can leverage a different demographic as well. So, you know, it's something that we'd be working for is working with the Tourism Department, of course, this committee, coming up with the right elements and the right collateral pieces that we want to be able to put together into but absolutely.
Ron?
Gene, I'm not trying to be negative, but I thought we've allocated the bed tax for the year.
No, it's not that tax money, it's coming out of the tourism budget,
This would come out of the tourism budget. Okay, all right, thank you.
this year anyway. Mr. Leggett?
Syracuse and Utica, so there's potential there?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yes, absolutely. So we do our attendance tracking, our ATS we call it, and, so we're talking to our guests. We get at least, our goal is for every 100 people in the park, we have a survey for them. So if we have 5,000 people in the park, we're getting the appropriate number of surveys. And, Syracuse and Utica are both, markets that we used to spend a lot of money in, and as times have changed and as our budgets have shifted, we've had to pull out of there. And, it's a place that we should all be talking to. They are, Darien Lake is the closest competition from a theme park standpoint, and really from, the Buffalo market, I guess, but, that doesn't compare to what we have here. It doesn't, that area does not have everything else that we have here.
That's
And I think
refreshing to hear.
In terms of new markets that we'd like to
Yeah.
reach, I did outline, we included in the outline Western New York.
Yes.
So I'm happy to see that.
And Western New York, especially through, Darien Lake, are in our marketplace now.
Yeah.
So they're aggressively looking at us as their destination, or, their draw, their funnel. So it'd be important for us to, I think, as a whole group, to go, a little bit into their neighborhood and start trying to fight back.
Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanna clarify, just so I understand, it's a 50-50 split, so it'd be 150 from Warren County Tourism and 150 from Great Escape. And it wouldn't just be our, portion just going into your hands and then, you guys would do all the work and then we just give a stamp of approval. It would be a collaboration, correct?
Yes, it's a 50-50 creative split, is what we mean there. So, the entire campaign would be $150,000 of true media dollars. So what the Great Escape is going to pick up is all the media planning fees, the buying fees associated with that, as well as production. As we're going to make a new commercial and we're going to do a creative that's a 50-50 split. So similar to what we just showed you. It's the Lake George region and the Great Escape. It's not a Six Flags commercial with, and visit Lake George at the end.
Right, so it's, so content-wise, what would be an example? I mean, would the content in it be 50-50? Would the content be geared towards Great Escape, but with the Lake George as a background? I'm just making sure that we iron out any wrinkles there.
Yeah.
Our hope is that when we get it into the creative and we are able to produce to you guys the spot that we want to produce, that you will feel comfortable with it. It's not a Great Escape commercial with Lake George in the background.
Okay.
This is a Lake George area commercial with Great Escape being an anchor and the other attractions and amenities that really this area provides as a cooperative group.
Because that's how it'll work.
Vision. I mean, to be honest with you, I've been in this committee and last year where I spoke about vision and how do we really lift ourselves up and work in unison to grow that cream and really improve occupancy throughout the entire region. We should leverage every last bit.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't us giving you that and it would basically just be a servicing fee, so to speak. You guys make a commercial and then mention us, and, all right, that's what I wanna make sure.
And that's why I wanted to be clear with John, that so the San Antonio and the Chicago markets, the partnership isn't as 50-50. The knowledge and the understanding of the tourism market from a buy standpoint are there, and that's why it's important. But, when we go 50-50, it will be, not what you'll see in
Rachel?
We don't want it to
For
be
us
like
is
Spire
to
commercial.
really communicate to that new consumer, right? The consumer that we want to be able to come here and start new traditions. We've got a lot of our guests that have, generational visitation to our region. We need to find that next group of people that want to come here for an additional generations to come. Our goal is to grow occupancy, tax base, visitation, and really, at the end of the day, really a vibrant, tourism community.
Rachel, you got something?
I think this is a great idea. I love the thinking outside the box and how creative it is. I just need a point of clarification to make sure I'm understanding the funding of this. When we say tourism, what we really mean is OCTAX, because OCTAX is funding our tourism, right?
Right.
So is this part of that $400,000 that was transferred in
Yes,
with the sole purpose of marketing?
yes,
Okay,
yes. Well, that's why, because we got involved with these back before the year ended.
okay.
We knew this was coming, and that's what we planned on. Yeah, this is coming out of that extra money that the tourism department got from OCTAX.
And so
But-
this
but
will
it's
be
not gonna come anymore.
75,000, and then we're gonna hear other proposals throughout the next
Oh.
month or two to
Well,
take up the.
Peter will be, yeah, that's gonna be take the whole year to get rid of it, yeah, we will.
I'm sorry, did I
It was
misunderstand?
150.
It's 150.
150.
And the 50 shares are one fifth.
No,
I thought you
No,
just
it's a
said
$300,000,
Oh,
almost,
300,000, I missed
in
that,
that area,
yeah.
maybe more.
So we will spend the media spend will be $150,000. So the tourism dollars will be $150,000. The creative will be a 50-50 split, and we will pick up production fees and media planning and all those fees.
So the point of clarification is that the Great Escape has a marketing budget, and the marketing budget more than exceeds the $150,000. As part of our spend, some of these commercials will fall into flight, but it won't be 100%. Because a lot of our commercials are also baselined on season pass, speaking to our own season pass holders. Those, other core market entities that drive the same, style business. So for this particular purpose, for this commercial, definitively, all $150,000 that you guys provide would be solely this spot, plus any of the other, benefits of the purchase that would come to fruition. And we felt that that was what was necessary so we can ensure that you believe that we are not tucking in our own Great Escape commercials into that overall, media buy. So this is completely separate and separated from all of our other media buys so that we don't fall victim to misappropriation.
Well, we'll know when it runs, you might not get it next year, that's all.
Well, you know what, and again, our true goal is to, how great would this be if, the 365, comes to fruition, and we start seeing some great growth coming into the winter months, that we don't do a Gore commercial or a Sears commercial that has the same type of, interactivity and true call-out. For as much as I love the I Love New York spot, it didn't necessarily say you need to go to West Mountain and Gore to enjoy all the things that Warren County has to offer. Creating this co-op style branding could enable us to do that.
Any other question? Yep.
I had a quick question. You'll work with Joanne as far as that, and Joanne, you don't have those regions covered as much, I mean, those are
No,
the regions that you would like to
I was
go?
happy to see that they were moving into Western New York, because
All right, so we're not duplicating in any way
I don't-
really what
no.
you're doing?
That's a great question.
Okay, that's good.
And I think that we would work with Ad Workshop as well, and just to keep them in the loop, to understand what the program is.
And I'd just like to say Great Escape is a very important partner in
That's
this
very
region. We really rely on them to do the lion's share of the marketing a lot with our business as well. So I think, it's well thought out, it's a good program. We do need the new visitors because the old visitors are staying shorter stays. We've seen that trend. They're going from 7-night stays to 3-night stays, and we have to fill in that time, and we certainly have to fill in midweek. So this is something that could definitely do that for us. So I'm very much in favor of it.
Mr. Kenny, Mr. Kenny, was your hand up? Yeah.
Have you approached any other attractions, major attractions within Warren County, who think they'd be interested in participating?
We started with Joanne and Peter, just because we knew that they had, yeah.
I guess a major attraction.
Absolutely.
Company.
Yeah.
What they spend on marketing, if they put it into it, I know it does Alex. You got it.
Alex.
Oh, but.
The other key attraction,
The
like the top five.
Participate in that. Co-op thing.
Absolutely agree. One of the reasons why, we presented it the way that we did was that Joanne and team would be able to maybe bring some of those attractions also to the table, and include them in some of the key spot or the key elements, the visuals, there's nothing better than watching a steamboat, as it's going across the Fate of American Lakes, and using those visuals, to highlight all the great things that happen in the region. So don't disagree and don't discount that at all.
So, your recommendation, your idea would be for Joanne to do it, and then. You can't hear a word he's saying. So you pay a portion of that $150 rather than.
No.
We hadn't talked about, we had not talked about
We
that.
haven't talked about that part,
I think that we could be open to it. At this point, we were thinking that the $150,000 would come out of our budget. The $400,000 that we had set aside for new types of promotion to enter new markets. And Eric and Rebecca were the only ones to approach us with an idea. and we really like the idea. So this is just, you know, the ground floor. There's certainly room for almost anything.
Honestly, it would be great.
Well, we did go way back too, at one of the, business association meeting, we were there, and we said, you know, we got this 400,000, give us some ideas, and truthfully, we didn't get too many. We
So
didn't get any.
Joanne, from what
So,
you understand.
maybe, you know, as it goes along, we'll work more with it.
So Joanne,
I
from,
think I mentioned a few times about the hours. In fact, you know, I don't know what we're working on, Ed Moore is involved. I think an awful lot of people, quite honestly, don't come here for shopping, they love their shopping.
can't understand.
Once they hear it, they alter the hours. It would have a dual, they could get involved. The other thing it would have, it would show the retailers, that we're expanding that money, bringing new flights, new people, so to the area. But hopefully, by doing something like that, Warren County's in a tough situation right now. Some of the outlets closing, and some of them are being tough. It would attract the retailers to the area by seeing this type of new advertising. This is my opinion. It's true, to serve that purpose.
All right, we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to start wrapping it up. Mr. Conover, I think you've been waving your hand for a while.
Well, so have I.
Quickly, how do we measure, the success of the program? How do we differentiate from our other advertising that we do, markets or similar markets that we go into with TV and the things that we do? So how do we differentiate this program and how do we measure, success of the program? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Sure, yeah, that's a great question. That's something that we work really closely with our, media buying agency, Maroc, out of, San Antonio, or out of Dallas area, sorry. And that's something we're asking every day as well. So all of these, everything we laid out in this flow chart would come with tracking metrics. The digital is really easy to track. We know how that's performing, and we know how it's performing almost to the minute, and we can adjust it in mid-flight. The TV, of course, is obviously a little bit more traditional, so doesn't have the digital tracking that it does, but we still have impressions and reaches and weights that we are going to hit. And we can do through the added value and through the spot itself, call to actions where we can drive click to get this, click to enter, chance for Warren County getaway. You know, it's up to us and our creative, you know, as we work together and move forward with this process to get that interaction and drive the engagement so we can see how it's all working.
So Createscape would be providing if it's baseline information, that you already have, of course.
Sure.
And you would be showing, being able to demonstrate one way or another what the movement of that is.
Yeah.
And, would it also include baseline information that our consultants have in terms of our media buys? Would that be incorporated as well?
I don't think so.
No?
Through our,
It'll be theirs, I mean, and we discussed that. They'll get all the information on how many people clicked on, hit, and we should be able to get that by the time the program is over.
All shareable, you know, the data, the list.
So we would share in the ownership of, that.
Absolutely, those are shareable items.
Mr. Stroud,
Yeah, no,
I think,
and that's, again, the growth metric.
because we got a couple of more things here. Mr. Stroud, did you?
Yeah, real quick, my question was just on, content. We're gonna have input onto the content, whether you're talking about the, $1 Million Mile or the cultural activities in downtown Glens Falls or the zip line or whatever. We're gonna have control over our 50% of the content.
We will,
Or at least
and we
some.
have video that we can share with them, and we'll sit down and work that out.
All right, okay.
Including to how it ties in, so it's cohesive.
Yeah.
You know, so it really is a partnership.
and one thing to note too, in terms of the content, the 75% that is the cable spend is probably a little bit more locked in. We'll create one spot that we're happy with who it's showcasing. The digital has the opportunity to highlight a few other ones, and you can change it. You can change it a lot more easily. It's so throughout the 6 to 8 week course, however we land on, we'll be able to change based on, you know, behaviors, based on weather. If it's a rainy week, we could put all shopping. If so it's completely customizable, the digital world.
You can change the tag, so taggings are changeable.
All right, one more. Matt, go ahead.
Really quick, I think this is a great idea, collaborating public-private, sectors. quick question though, what kind of timeline are you looking at in terms of, if we were to say yes today, when would the commercial first air? What is the production time period there?
We would, so the flight is scheduled right now to start mid-June, right as school's getting out. So I think the flow chart shows the week of June 5th. We could talk to you guys, probably move it back to June 12th or so, have that hiatus week in July. From a production standpoint, once we get the go-ahead to move forward, our goal would be work closely and then have our final spot all ready for approval at this April meeting, so we could all feel good about it and tweak anything we wanted to and be ready to go in June. So our media agency, our production agency is on board to have something to review
For April.
for April.
All right, so we just got a general quick approval by this committee that we're gonna move forward with this, basically. All right, I don't need a resolution, but I just wanna make sure everybody knows, we've been working on this for a couple of months now, so.
Great.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank y'all very much.
All right, we have, Kristen Hannafin, Lake George, CVB. You got 2 minutes. No, I'm only kidding.
I'll be quick with that. Alright, I'll just pass these out. These are your updates for the month. Last but not least, right?
Almost.
Almost. Good afternoon. Before you, you'll find the CVB report for, January of 2017. Lots of information there. I'm not gonna go through everything. I'm just gonna give you the highlights. Couple of big things. The CVB was, mentioned, and we have 2 new sport tourism-related awards. Collinson Media awarded Lake George CVB for the 2016-17 Trailblazer Award, and Sports Events Magazine listed us as one of the top places to play for 2017 in its annual national guide to sports commissions and CVBs. These go out to about 64,000 sport planners and events rights holders, so this is really kind of starting to gain us some traction as a sport destination for folks to consider to bring their events in the near future. These are great recognitions for us for the industry, and so I'm happy to slowly see these things starting to come to fruition and to be able to really recognize us as a sportcation destination. Speaking of sports, the CVB held a roundtable with a number of local sport venues, some officials and stakeholders earlier this month to talk about what our initiatives are from the sports tourism standpoint, the opportunities available, the marketplaces that I will be attending this upcoming year, and the opportunities for cooperative partnership. Some of the things that came out of that discussion include potentially some collaborative work together to create a collateral piece. We're also talking about potentially creating a video that I can take with me to these marketplaces. So we'll be moving forward. The next meeting is going to be actually on February 9th, and this group will be coming together. I'm doing some background research just in terms of other sport alliances and commissions, how those are formed. This is not something, I know there was an article that came out probably a couple of weeks ago from the Post-Star. We are just in the preliminary stages of these discussions. This is a lucrative market for us in terms of a market segment for tourism. In looking at the rough numbers, we're estimating at about $20 million in sport-related tourism for economic impact in 2016 alone, and then looking into 2017, that number will go up. We're probably estimating at this point to be around $25 to $28 million in economic impact. Places like Golden Goal are seeing increases of up to 80% in 1 year alone. So from beginning of 2016 to the end, Mark Shear's tournaments and camps have increased by 80%, and he's got new stuff coming in this year. So that is, from economic standpoint, is a pretty exciting thing, and it's that low-lying fruit that really seems to make a lot of sense. We have our challenges with space for meetings and conventions, so where do we go after the dollars that make economic sense for us, and where are people spending their money? We're seeing youth sports, that's where it is. We're seeing tournaments coming in, special events. So those are the things in this area regionally that are going to be critical for us to go after and to market to. I have several bids pending right now, including a very large adventure travel conference called ATA Elevate. I had submitted about a 40-page proposal back in December. This is the Adventure Travel Trade Conference, which does travel around the country, and it's really important for us to be able to put a bid into this because it will bring potentially, we did make the short list, actually, I did find out from their meeting planner. And I'll be meeting with their board members on Friday to talk further about where this is gonna go and setting up site visits, hopefully in, February and March for them to come. But what that will do is it'll increase visibility. We have about 30 to 40 media buyers and travel writers potentially coming with this, tour operators, receptive tour operators, and so people that can really make a difference in terms of creating more visibility for us as a destination in a region from an adventure travel standpoint. So we're talking hiking, whitewater rafting, zip lining, all these different kinds of things that we're known for in the Adirondacks and in our region. So fingers crossed, we get it. We did make the short list, and so we'll know hopefully in the next month. In addition, we also, I'm speaking with the Adirondack Folk School. They won the bid to bring the Abana International Blacksmithing Conference in 2020. This conference actually will be down at the Washington County Fairgrounds, but the numbers of people will be split actually between us in our region here and Saratoga. So not what I wanted to hear specifically that they're going to be split, but because it brings about 1,500 people total, we will, and also the Adirondack Folk School will be heavily involved. We will see a lot of folks coming into our area from that event. The Santa Hustle, I know we've talked about that a little bit over the course of the last couple of months. The organizer will be here on a site visit in March, so I'll be sitting down with him and with the town and the village to set up the course for the half marathon and the 5K in town. Looking right now potential dates of about December 3rd. And the other thing he and I were talking about too is potentially adding a festival component to this, on the idea, if those of you that may be familiar with the German Christmas Kindlemart or German Christmas markets down in Festival Commons, this would be a nice way to sort of expand out this event and create something much more local, using vendors and create a really fun, festive atmosphere. So we'll be reaching out to local businesses to talk more about that. Given the recent interest and the successes of the ice bars, between the Sagamore, the Pier and the Steamboat, and the Winterfest, with the fire bars at the Inn Earl West, these are components that I think really would be very successful to a complementary event like a German Christmas market in conjunction with Santa Hustle. So we'll be working to try and see if we can pull both of these things together to make that happen for December 3rd. Let's see. Going back to sports for a minute, Golden Goals economic impact, Mark's numbers came back, looked at about 1.2 million for last year. We're looking this year, Eastfield's going to be bringing USCAA Collegiate Baseball World Series. So they'll be hosting potentially 1,225 potential athletes and 35 teams from around the U.S. So we'll be looking for rooms, and I'll be sending out that RFP. And finally, I just want to make a mention, tomorrow is a press event. The commissioner of the EVP Volleyball is actually here in town, and we will be having an event. I know I did send out something last week by email to most, if not all of you, but that press event will be at 11 o'clock tomorrow at the Chamber office. So if you can attend, we'd certainly love to have you. We'll talk a little bit about the schedule events for those 3 days, including the beach events, the grass component on Saturday, and his overall tour. So if you can make it, love to have you. So, short, sweet, to the point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
The last part of, I'll open the, you wanna say something on the, percentages of growth? You know, always a lot of times, you know, like now, our tax is up over last year, but I know a lot of business people say, well, we raise our prices, so you're getting more sales tax and more bed tax. But I think Joanne went and got some numbers for the last 4 years. The county is growing a little, even though I keep hearing it's flat, but if Joanne, you wanna read that off?
So this was a document that was in your supervisor packet, and it outlined, we just received the fourth quarter Smith Trend report. So it will give us year-to-date comparisons, and if you look at occupancy, and you know, you talk about occupancy, and then you talk about supply and demand. So we in the tourism department are looking at the demand numbers, and when you look at the last 4 years, we have increased incrementally. It's not a lot, but we haven't decreased. So beginning in 2013 through 16, we were up 1.2%. 1.4%, up 0.3, and then again up 0.3 this most recent year. So even though we started out and we were down considerably, January, February, March of last year with no winter season, we had a good summer season, still a little bit soft. September was phenomenal, and a pretty good solid end of the year. So we closed slightly above last year in terms of demand for rooms. So those are the numbers that we're looking for, and that we'll kind of check in with you on a month-by-month basis. So that was in your packet if you wanted to look at those numbers.
All right, I'll open the privilege to the floor. Anybody's got any questions that we didn't answer, or any comments, or?
Looping back on the Six Flags, joint opportunity, the lodging association perspective there would be, that's a great idea. The opportunity to take occupancy tax dollars and focus it, just as the BBG&G study said, on the county as a whole, picking out some of the highlights, and we have a bunch, whether it's retail, Six Flags, adventure sports, lake, go down the list. There's a million angles on that honestly goes back to the funding. So the ability to consume occupancy tax dollars with high impact promotions, like what Six Flags is presenting here, is outstanding. Dauphin County does that. Their park, Hershey Park, is doing that. Orlando does that. Kissimmee does that. Any of the areas that we would consider to be either reference points for tourism or specifically competitors are in this space right now. And from a committee perspective, to see that connection come together is just outstanding. And so, Mr. Supervisor, the question, Mr. Chairman, would be, with regard to the BBG&G study, are there next steps that we should expect on that from the recommendations that came out of that study, and how should we work together going forward in that regard?
Well, all I can say is right now, we laid out a plan for a few things that were in there, and we're just gonna have to work on it month by month until, if we can accomplish all of it, it'd be great, but I know we can't, or won't happen a lot of the stuff, but, we're on top of it.
And some of the things in the marketing outline that I put together did incorporate some of her recommendations.
Get some of that paper, the marketing thing, and you'll see some of the stuff that was done. All right, before we adjourn, the only other thing, the county went into a goal set by department heads. I worked with Joanne on that. She laid out a beautiful plan for this board. Anybody wants to see it, can go down and get a copy of it. And I'm highly happy and respectful. Joanne does a great job for us. So with that,
It will come to the committee at some point. I've just reviewed it with my chairman.
so, all right, motion adjourned. We're adjourned. Thank you all for coming.